Now that we are done with the main body, we can go ahead and create the tail. And as you can see, it is sectioned in two sections. So we have this kind of tapering off into the body and the rest of it. So we're going to create this section first. So I'm going to go back to 50% transparency on this body. And on materials, I'm going to add the edges and points. Now, the shape, based on the shape of the tail, we can start with a cylindrical primitive. So I'm going to double click on the part to activate it because now we were in product mode. So now we can go on to this part design in IMA Workbench. And you're going to switch to the back view. Remember F4 for switching between views. And then you're going to select the cylinder. One thing to mention is that the size of the mesh is kind of related to the size of your screen. So everybody can kind of get a different sort of a mesh based on your screen. But there is, I think it's a quarter of your screen size. But there's no problem because you're just going to drop it down to whatever size you want. So we're going to reduce this like so, and then click apply. So kindly note that when you want to move both vertical and horizontal directions, you kind of just go in the middle, because if you move one, then you're going to lose the circular shape. And I've kind of wanted to maintain that. It's not completely circular, but we're going to get that in a while. So let's go back to the right view, not the left view. I need the right view, like so. And then we can come to translation and kind of move it to that position. We need to reduce the length. So go back to affinity and like that. Up to about that point. And then we still need to add a little bit, click on apply. We still need to add a little bit of this height. So at this point, we can use translation because, as I said, it's not completely circular. So translation, and then bring it sort of in the middle. Then affinity. Just increase the length in that direction. Click apply and exit because I want us to make it 50% transparent. And then we also change this color to red so we know the new part that we are creating. Let's go to the top view. And once again, select our subdivision surface, click on space, translation, everything is selected, and select everything, and then we're going to move it horizontally like so. So until it is at the center of this shaft that you can see. So the shaft is usually towards one side more than the latter. So you're not setting it up to the center of this geometry. It's up to the center of this geometry that you can see here. And then once you've got it like so, go to affinity and increase that until this section kind of touches both the ends. I'm going to leave it as that. And then you're going to apply. Click on shift, select only these endpoints. You're still on affinity, and we're just going to add on to that width because it's tapering towards the tail so that it's now all covered. And then exit, apply and exit. So we got that basic shape nailed down. Now we need to make sure that this kind of goes down, and we're going to start by adding a sectioning here. So you're going to select on this edge, and you can use this slider to control where your edge is, and I want it almost at the very end like so. Click on apply and exit. So click on the subdivision surface and press space to enter, and we're going to select these vertices. We're going to select these two edges like that, and then go to affinity, and we're going to increase the width, say up to about that point, and then go to rotation, and we are on the side view. Let me undo that. So we're going to rotate them like that. Click on apply, then go to translate, kind of bring it in the middle here, then affinity once again, increase, and we want it up to about the point where this edge is touching both of these lines, and then just click apply. Let's go back to translation. Now we need to select this edge at the very end, so you can select edge instead of point, and then select propagation, so that once you select one edge, it should select the entire edge. Hold on. Just one edge, and you've selected everything. Go back to vertices. You can see it has selected the vertices. Don't reset the robot yet. So while it's still on this orientation, you're going to translate this down like that. Click on apply, and then go to rotation. Rotate this edge once more, a little bit like that. It seems there was a point that was left behind. We left a point behind. Let's undo that. So I need to make sure I'm selecting all the points. I'm going once again, everything is selected here. I'm gonna go to translation, bring it to the middle, affinity, bring it to about that point. Cool. Click on apply. Then I need to select this edge point. So I'm going to zoom in. You can just Control Shift select, Control Shift add, Control Shift add, Control Shift add. So we want to make sure we're selecting all the elements, including those which are on the other side. So with the robot still on this orientation, we're gonna go to translation and pull it downwards, apply, and then rotation. Rotate a little bit more, click on apply. Then I want to move it somewhere in the middle like that. Then affinity, add a little bit to it, like let's say up to that point. Now we're going to select these edges, this point, the vertices of this midsection, vertices of this section. So Control Shift and select, Control Shift, select, Control Shift, select. We've got everything selected. Go to translation. The robot definition is still where it went when we did the rotation. Then a little bit of rotation. Apply. Go back to affinity. Add. Translate. That's forward, upwards. OK, and click apply. Now this last point, I don't want it to be rotated much. So once again, you can select everything at the bottom, Control Shift, trap selection, and trap selection. And I'm going to reset the robot, and then go to rotation. So basically you're just going to play with these vertices until you fit the curvature that you want. So select everything there, go to rotation. Let's rotate that even more. Go to affinity, reset the robot. I think that's the ideal position where this vertex is touching the corner, and then we can apply that. Then this last section, my bad, right there. Shift, Control Shift, Control Shift. So now we can select individual points and just adjust them. Try to select this edge and see if we can adjust it using weight. So negative indicates sharp, positive indicates curvature. And I actually I don't think we need that at all. What I'm going to do is to select edge propagation, and just select this edge. That edge. Go to affinity. Edge selection, this edge. All right, now that we have the basic shape covered, you can try to add another extra curve here and lower this, but I think it's going to affect. But because it's not visible, we're just going to leave it like that. But we have these points at the very end here that we need to make them narrow. So you're going to select those vertices, Control, hold down on Shift key, those vertices as well. Then you're going to switch to the top view, select affinity, and just make them narrow. Like that. Click on apply, exit. And you can try, let's hide this. You can select the subdivision surface, go back to 100% visibility. Maybe change this to blue. And you can check out its shape right here. So that's the shape that we were trying to get. It's kind of narrows down here. And we've got this nearly circular profile going on here. Go back to right view and change back to 50% and show the painting. So this profile is closed. We're going to have to open it to extrude the edges. You're going to go to remove face or erasing right here. This is the icon with an X. And select this subdivision surface and then select these quarters. Press down the Control key to add the number of faces you're removing. Make sure the face you're removing is highlighted here. Then click apply and exit. Now we have an open edge. And you have an option to just pick the edge and extrude it. Like you can come here, select extrusion, select the subdivision surface, make sure it's the edge selected, and select extrusion here. Select this edge, and it's going to give you a new surface. And you can click yes on that and then extrude again and pull it out. But you're going to have 3 junctions here, but I want to have just 1 junction, so I need to be able to control that. So what I'm going to do, just exit this and don't save. What we're going to do is I'm going to create another cylinder. My bad. We need to go back to the back view. I'm going to create another cylinder. Go to affinity, click on apply, go to the right view. I don't know why it's rotated. Let's undo that. Okay, here we have it. Back view, space, affinity. Make sure robot definition is reset. Reduce that. Click on apply. Okay, now we're good. But I need the right view. So I'm going to go to translation and just translate this from this point. Shift, select these endpoints, and then move them closer to where we need them. Upwards. Affinity. Make sure they align. You might need to zoom in. Just make sure they are not like this diameter shouldn't be larger than this diameter, because then we're gonna get a lump. So there you have it. First, I'm going to exit and change this transparency to 50% and change that color so I can see through. Click on space, shift, trap select these vertices, affinity, reduce them and try to put them in the middle. You think we've got it? Yep, that looks good to me. Go to apply that, go to top view and select everything, translation, and bring it right there. Shift, trap, select these points, affinity, bring it up to that point. Shift, trap, select these vertices, affinity, and we're going to increase the width up to that point. So again, it shouldn't be larger than this width. Click on apply and exit. But I do want to make these endpoints here circular. I want to make this completely circular. I don't know, but maybe we can just follow the blueprint the way it is. So I'll leave it as that. So now we need to join the two. And once again, we're going to have to erase these faces. So click on erase. Make sure it's highlighted. Press down on Control. Make sure it's highlighted. And then apply and exit. Now we need to join the two. And we're going to do that using merge. This subdivision to this subdivision. So first we have that automatic merge, and this is where I said you can be able to control how you're merging them. So you can see it created this edge, and another one right here. So if you just need one edge, there's an option here for manipulation. So you can control that where you want your continuation. So instead of continuing from here, you just need it from exactly where this body is, and where this body is, you just need one extra edge right there. So you have join mode, you have merge mode, and merge surface selection where we've selected both of them. And then you can click apply. And exit. And that's it for the tail. So you have a new join subdivision surface. And it looks like that. So the reason why I didn't want to extrude is because I needed this edge to be as close as to this point as possible, so that we don't affect this curvature right here. So of course, later on, you can use this GSD dedicated toolkit to just split this surface, these two surfaces, and join them. But in the meantime, we're gonna leave it as subdivision surfaces as they are. So now we can create this top profile, this housing for the main rotor right there. We start with the box primitive. So from this option, you can select a box, and then you can translate this box, select vertices instead. You can translate it to this position. Click on apply. You're also going to rotate it a little bit because this is slightly slanted. So you just need it to align with that top line, like that. And click on apply. Then shift and select these bottom vertices, bring them up. Oops. Undo, select translation and bring them up until this vertex is almost near the surface. And then we're going to apply an exit so that we can apply transparency to this subdivision 5, and also change its color to know which profile we are editing. Now that we've got this, we've got the basic setup, but we still need to make it curved in this direction, and it's also curved in this direction. So we might need more subdivision on this edge. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select face cutting, select this subdivision and this edge, and I'm going to push this up to 3. I need 3 edges. So basically, when you have a curvature, you might need some more edges to create that curvature much better. The less it is, the more rugged and sharp it is. The more the number of sections, of course, the better the curvature. But you might want to find a balance, so we're not going to overdo it. And then exit. Now we've got that. So I'm going to top view. And first of all, click on this and translate it to the middle section. So you want it to be aligned with the middle section of this tail. So I'm going to pull it. And once again, I've not selected everything. So select everything using this icon. Translate it until the middle sections align. Roughly about that point. Click on apply. You can select affinity and make it narrower. So I don't know if you can see these lines, but basically that's way. And also you're going to, so apply that, you're going to select this profile at the rear end. click on affinity and make them narrower so that they kind of narrower than this tail. So I don't know why in this blueprint it shows that it's wide, but if you check all the images of the helicopter, they are narrower than the tail. And then click on apply and escape. Now that we've got that, you're going to select extrude from this menu. If you see an icon like this for revolve, you can just click on the drop down menu and select extrude. So we're trying to create this curvature. So you're just going to start off at this edge. And just taper it off to a curvature. Actually, I'm going to do the same number of sections so that it can be better. So that section, then this section. Nope. Let's just continue. So roughly about that, like so, and click on escape. Then switch to front view, and you want to make this longer than this geometry. So space, everything is selected, select translation, move it upwards, and then affinity, make it longer than the previous geometry. Click on OK and escape. So now we can go back to this subdivision surface, click on it and space, go to the top view, and we want to select all these front edges. So shift, select all those vertices, go to alignment, click on body, and then pick subdivision surface 5. And what we want is everything to fit on that. Don't know how that looks. Hold on, let me try. So where are we? Undo that. Let me try first to push it to this side. It seems that we've selected something that is not appropriate. Okay, so select subdivision 4 space, and then you're going to click on shift and select all these vertices. Then select alignment on body, pick subdivision 5 towards that side so that the vertices kind of align with this. So the curvature is not going to be exactly where that is because, as I said, it depends on the number of sections, but it's going to be good enough. Then click on apply and exit. So now if we hide this subdivision 5, you can see we've created a curvature for subdivision 4. Now we need to create the top curvature. So you can switch to the right view. And we're going to add one more section, 1 or 2 per se. Select on face cutting, subdivision 4. Let's drop down this to 2. Click apply and exit. Now what we want to do is to push this a little bit to the side. I might have to raise this once again. Okay. So select shift, select these 2 contours and drag them behind. a little bit like so. Click on apply, and then the top surface, drag it all the way like that so it's pointed. Then we have this bottom profiles. We're gonna push them forward, come down here and select these vertices. Bring them to this side, that vertex, like so. So every time you see me selecting, I'm pressing on shift just in case there's something on the other side. Then this top profile needs to go a bit upwards. So you just need to shape it until you see it fits the geometry that you want. Click on OK. We can first exit to see what it's looking like. And this is what we have. I would say that's good enough. We can now split the surfaces, but first I'm not going to join them. I'm just going to split them. So we're going to split subdivision 2 using subdivision 1. Click OK. Then split subdivision 1 using the new split 1. And click OK. I'm not going to join them. Then I'm going to split subdivision 4 using these two splits. Or I can say, let me clear this selection. I can say here, create a join between these two. And use that join to split this surface. Okay. So now we have 3 splits. One is the tail. We can rename them here. The shortcut is Alt-Enter to go into graphic properties. Go to feature properties, and we're going to name this the tail. We have this split too. Alt-Enter, and this is the main fuselage. Then split 3, Alt-Enter. This is the main rotor housing. We can also give them materials. You can choose any material that you want. Actually, that's too dark. Maybe let's go with this one. Nope. You can drag and drop, or you can click on surface and say apply material. So those are the 3 surfaces that we've created using Class A surfacing. And that forms the basis for our copter. You can go to shading with material, and you can actually see how smooth those surfaces are. We don't have any unwanted creases on any part. Any crease that you see is intentional, and where we want the surfaces to be smooth, they are actually really smooth. So that's really good. So if you've come so far, you're now at par with the Class A surfacing, and we are now going to create the main rotor. We're also going to create the vertical and horizontal stabilizers, as well as this tail rotor and that sand. So we're going to use 1 aerofoil, which is used for mainly for the helicopter blades, and it's also used for the tail fins, and it is the NACA 0012 airfoil. So you can head to airfoiltools.com and search for NACA 0012 airfoil.